Hey guys, Nick Mullen here. In this video, I'm going to go over why most businesses struggle with call funnels and making them profitable with paid ads. You might call it an appointment funnel. Essentially, when people click on an ad, they go to your landing page with some info on your offer, and then we have them schedule an appointment with you or one of your sales team members, etc. There's a lot of businesses who struggle with this funnel. I want to solve the problem with you in real time on this video. Okay, so make sure you take out a pen and paper, write some notes down or on your computer, whatever. Okay, so real quick, let's set the stage. If you're watching this video, you should probably have a $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 consulting program or B2B product or some kind of B2C service or product of some sort. It could be, a physical product that's high ticket if you want, but you sell something high ticket. Let's just use $10,000 for the sake of this video. You sell a $10,000 product. For sake of simplicity, let's just say that you collect $10,000 upfront, the entire amount when you close a deal. Okay, so typically when I come in and run ads and do this stuff with a client in this situation, they have a team, typically. They have a small sales team, and their problem is they've been able to close plenty of deals from organic traffic, from the client's YouTube channel, from their Instagram channel, people that have been watching their content for 90 days, 180 days, whatever. Referrals close easy because they're already sold when they show up to the call. These types of things, right? And you might be experiencing the same thing. And either they haven't tried running ads consistently, like paid ads, or they have worked with 10 different marketing teams who have all run paid traffic to this type of funnel, and all the same things happen. The sales team closes 3% of everyone that booked a call, right? People are no-showing at a terrible rate. The sales team is exhausted. With unqualified people showing up just like not having a clue about what they're showing up for, etc. Okay, and here's the actual reason this is happening. Okay, now if you look at this is a room. Okay, this is one side of the room. Okay, this is a cold prospect. Okay, on this side, this side of the room is where someone doesn't know you yet. They are completely cold to you. Okay. On this side of the room, this is when you have a $10,000 customer. Someone has literally parted ways with $10,000. They put it on an Amex. Okay. Now we have this box in the middle of the room. Okay. And I'm going to explain exactly how this has anything to do with the problem that you're trying to solve in just a second. Just give me a few minutes, okay? This box represents your customer, okay? This is your customer, okay, or your potential customer. Now, most times when you've been able to close deals consistently with a sales team and a sales process to sell this high-ticket thing, it's because the customer has come in and they were in the middle of the room. Okay? And essentially what this means is they were halfway there already. Okay? But when you turn paid ads on, you're going and showing someone an ad that literally up until this point had no clue who you were if it's cold traffic. Okay? And what that means is this box is not in the middle of the room. This box starts when someone sees a paid ad, it starts at this side of the room, okay? And if you look at the distance from here to here, there's a lot more distance that needs to be covered, okay? And essentially, if you look at this, like getting the sale is like having to push this box across the room, okay? If this box weighs 100 pounds, then it's going to take a certain amount of energy to get that box all the way across the room. Okay? But, okay, if that box costs or weighs 100 pounds and the box starts, 60% of the way across the room, then it's going to cost a lot less energy and a lot less money to get them from here to paying you $10,000. Okay, this is a physics lesson if you think about it. If any of you took physics in high school or college or whatever, right? This is simply a physics lesson. The reason why you turn cold traffic on, you try to convert cold traffic with paid ads, and it's harder to convince people to give you $10,000 is literally this. They're not as warmed up. Okay? They aren't 60% across the room yet. Okay? So it takes more resources, it takes more energy, right? Energy in the form of money, energy in the form of time, and energy in the form of effort. Okay, is this making sense? Okay, cool. And this is the reason why someone clicks on your paid ad and your sales team has a call with them in 3 days after they booked the call. It's because they've literally only gone from here to here. Okay? There's still 80% of the room left to go. Right? They haven't been warmed up yet. And so if they've only been warmed up this much, and there's still a ton of trust to be built, they still need to be sold essentially, then no wonder your show up rate's low. Okay? And no wonder your close rate's low. It's going to feel like you're pulling teeth to close deals. Right? And so if you have this self-awareness that these people need to be warmed up and pushed all the way across the room, then two things are going to happen. Number one, you'll have more clarity on why this is happening. And you'll have clarity on, okay, well, not everyone's going to close in the first 7 days. Some people need a little bit more time. But more importantly, if you have clarity over this, you have clarity that you can actually fix it if you implement certain things to, in your marketing, get this box as close to here as possible before the sales team touches it. And also, you have clarity on some things that your sales team can do to more efficiently reach out, grab the box, and pull it, right? Strengthening your sales team. And I'm going to talk about a few of those things in just a second. But real quick, before I do that, I want to make it very, very clear visually for you what it looks like in different scenarios. Okay, if someone refers you a client or a potential client, right? That person's literally being plopped in like right here. Okay, they're 70% of the way there or 80% of the way there. Okay, and at that point, they already know what you do. They already know that the other person got results with you. Okay, now it's just a question of what's the price point, right? So it's very little effort to convert that type of person, right? You might close a referral at 85% close rate. Okay. And then paid ads turn on with cold traffic, and then you're wondering why you have a 15% close rate. It's because you as a salesperson, you're not as good as you think you are. Anyone can close 80% of referrals, right? Because they're already close. There's already trust built. Okay. If someone comes from your YouTube channel, okay, they might plop right here. Okay, they've been watching your content, right? Another person didn't refer them, so there's a little bit less trust. But they've already watched a lot of your content that has warmed them up to this point. They're 60, 70% of the way there. Okay. Now you just need to convince them on your thing that you're going to help them with, your product, the vehicle that you're going to help them with. Okay. And maybe price point stuff. Okay. That's what's going to get you here. Okay. Maybe you're currently closing them at 50%, right? People from your organic YouTube channel, for example. Okay. And then people click on a paid ad. They come here, boom. They've watched a 5-minute sales video talking about how your product can help them solve their problem. Okay, boom. They're only 20% of the way there. So the fix here is like, okay, we need to get marketing and sales to both do a better job of pushing this box forward and the sales team pulling this box to the finish line. Okay, and that's what we're going to cover right now. You need to push the box as far as possible using your marketing. You need to warm up your customer as much as possible, as much as humanly possible in your marketing. Okay? And a few things you can do with that is, having a VSL on your landing page that is better, more engaging. Okay? Maybe you have a headline up here. Someone sees a video ad. Okay. The better the video ad and the better the video on this page is, the more engaged someone is going to be when they actually go and schedule that call. AKA, the further along that box is going to be pushed. Okay. Now, in your VSL, where you're explaining the solution to their problem and how your product or your program is, going to help them, solve their problem. Okay. There's some of you who are getting people to schedule a call, but they're not engaged calls. Like, people don't have any intention. They're just curious, right? They maybe watched 30 seconds of this video that might be a 10-minute long video, right? So they haven't actually watched any content before, before they apply and schedule a call, which is, depending on who you're selling to, that can be a problem. Okay, your show rate's going to be lower. It's going to take a lot more effort on your sales team's side to actually close those deals. Okay, and so you want to make your video better, your sales video. You want to see if people are actually watching the video. Ideally, people are watching the video, at least halfway, or the people that really show up to those calls that already have been sold to a degree. Those are people that made it to the end of that video or close to the end of that video. Okay. The other thing you can do, okay, is you can, on your VSL page, you can test, and I would only do this if you already have calls that are being booked, to be clear. You can have the video and no call to action below the video until a certain point. So essentially, you can delay it. You can delay any call to action below the video to make sure that you're only getting calls booked with people who are actually watching, let's say, 5 minutes of this 10-minute video at least, right? And so you'd have a delayed application or a delayed calendar, right, which is your call to action, right? This application below the video, or this button below the video, the calendar that shows up below the video, it doesn't show up until 2 minutes after the page loads, or 5 minutes after the page loads, or even 10 minutes after the page loads. Quick warning about this: if you do this, your cost per call is going to go through the roof initially. Okay, so if you're going to try this, I would initially make sure that you are already getting calls. Make sure you're already getting a high volume of calls so that you know that the offer is working. Your sales, your marketing angle is already working, okay? Your volume of calls will dip if you do this delayed thing, because not everyone will watch that sales video, okay? But those calls that you do get will show up with higher intent. They will be a little bit more sold, right? They will have already been pushed, 40% of the way there versus 20% of the way there. Okay. So those are a few things you can do on the marketing side to push the box closer to the finish line, essentially. Okay. Make it easier on your sales team. Okay. Now, to be clear, that is not ideal from an actual sales side, because you're just putting more friction between them being interested in being able to inquire about your thing, right? About your product, right? The best sales gurus, the best sales trainers in the world would probably not want to do this, because the best salespeople, really good sales organizations, all they need is a name, phone number, and email, no matter how sold the person is yet, right? To call them and have a sales conversation, right? And so this is not required to close high ticket deals. This is some of you are not going to be willing to force your sales team to become extremely elite salespeople. And so I'm giving you that as a tool if you're gonna put, it's kind of like guardrails on a bowling alley. Okay, if you're only gonna make your sales team do XYZ or be XYZ good, and they just want to show up to calls and not do too much heavy lifting, and if that's what you want for your sales team, then by all means try this stuff. Make sure people watch content before they schedule a call, etc. And your show rate will be a little bit higher. Your cost per call is going to be higher, like I said, and it's going to be less work for your sales team. It's going to be more similar to traffic that comes from YouTube ads, for example. Okay, which again, it's good and bad. Okay, now let's move on to the sales team side. Okay, so we've moved the box a little bit here with our marketing. That's marketing. Okay, and now how do we strengthen the rest of this? How do we strengthen the sales team's ability to go out here, grab the box, and pull it to the finish line? Okay, and I guarantee you, every single client that I work with most of my clients that I work with start out by having a mediocre sales team. I'm just going to be honest with you. And they all struggle with paid ads until we make some key fixes in the sales process. Okay, and if you're struggling to convert cold traffic, this is probably your sales team, and they need to get a little kick in the butt, and you need to fix this stuff. Okay, usually what happens is someone sees an ad. Okay, they go to a landing page. Okay, this is the landing page. There's a headline. Oops. There's a headline at the top of the page. There's a sales video. Okay, maybe there's an application, and they go to a page where they're going to schedule a call. Okay, they schedule that call, and a lot of times what happens is they schedule a call for like 3 days from now. Okay, maybe today's Sunday when they booked a call, and the call's actually going to happen on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time, for example. Call scheduled. They booked it on Sunday. The call is not till Wednesday at 3 p.m. Okay, this is a calendar. All right. There's a lot of time that is elapsing in between Sunday when they booked the call and when the actual call is going to take place at 3 p.m. on Wednesday. This is an extremely big issue because remember, these people do not know who you are yet, right? Depending the level of how well they know you is depending on how much content they've watched before they booked the call. Okay? Most people's sales teams, they get a call booked and nobody calls them, nobody texts them until the day of the call, which is absolutely mind-blowing. It's absolutely ridiculous. Imagine if you were interested in a car of some sort and you inquired to go into a Jeep dealership 3 days from now, right? The likelihood of you buying a car is massively increased if someone within 5 minutes calls you to get some more information from you and get a contact point. Okay? If the call gets booked right here and 3 days goes by until the call is actually going to happen, that's a cell phone. That's a phone. Okay? This is so much time for them to go shop your competitors. Okay? Go get distracted with life. Okay? Other priorities come up. Maybe their kid gets sick. Okay? Maybe they get sick. They have to go to the doctor's office. Okay? This call gets way lowered in their list of priorities because life happens. Okay? And so what do we need to do? We need to warm them up. If they already know you, if they already know who you are, then the likelihood of them not showing up to the call if they already know you and respect you and like you is way lower, right? And the priority of that call, because there's more trust built, okay, is higher, right? And so what do we need to do in the sales process? Call gets booked on Sunday. Okay? Call's going to happen on Wednesday, 3 p.m. Okay, 3 days in between. Immediately, the closer or a setter needs to call them as soon as possible. If it's 2 a.m., obviously they're not going to be able to call them right away, right? They get a text message, an SMS from you guys, from the closer or a setter saying, hey, this is so-and-so from so-and-so team. Going to call you soon. Saw your application come through, right? They call them as soon as possible to get a contact point. Okay, they're going to call them. If they don't pick up, they need to double dial every single time. If your sales team calls people and doesn't double dial and people don't pick up, you're getting way less conversations just because your sales team's not calling them a second time. Just a side note. Okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to have a discovery call with that person. A discovery call needs to happen whether someone applied and booked a call or applied and didn't book a call. Whether someone booked a call or not, you're going to have a setter or the closer call them right away to try and get a discovery call done within a day between the time that they booked the call and the actual time of the call, right? So call booked happens. Okay. Call time. This is when the actual call happens. In between is when we're going to do some magical stuff, right? Discovery call. Discovery call is meant to, you want to have a script for this. Essentially, the discovery call is meant to get a touch point. Make sure they're qualified, because if the call's not qualified, we want to make sure that the call gets canceled. Okay? To save your closer team more time on the counter so other people that are qualified can book a call. Okay? Because some people slip through the qualification steps and actually book a call. Okay? Discovery call, you want to see if they're qualified. Okay? You want to get more information on them to write some notes, right, in the CRM. Okay? It builds some trust. It gets a contact point. It makes them realize, oh, this is an actual call I need to show up. I need to show up to, right? They've talked to a human being, which, by default, human beings don't want to let other human beings down. And on this discovery call, you also want to do a few very important things. Like I said, you want to qualify them for buying power. Are they willing and able to invest? Do they actually have a problem that your product or your program is going to solve? Okay, are they actually interested? Okay, and is there anyone else on, their spouse or a business partner that needs to be on that call, on Wednesday at 3 p.m. when that call time actually happens? Okay, and then a few other things need to happen. What you want to do is you want to tell them, hey, awesome, excited for our call, or excited for your call with the closer Bob on Thursday on Wednesday at 3. You also want to make sure, if you're doing Zoom calls, for example, or like conference calls on your computer, you want to make sure that they understand that that's the case and that they understand how to use a Zoom link, for example. Okay, so set the expectation up front in that discovery call so that you're not scrambling and trying to get that stuff. You don't want them to show up to the call thinking it's okay to be on their phone, or it's going to be a phone call. Okay, you want to make sure that expectation's set. Okay. Another extremely important thing that you want to do on that discovery call is you want to tell them, hey, Bob, or hey, Nancy, I'm going to send you an email. Essentially, there's a few pieces of content that I need to make sure that you watch in full before your call with Bob on Wednesday at 3 p.m. so that you're actually prepared and you have full context for that call. Okay, if I send that stuff over, can you promise me to watch that stuff in full? Yes? Okay, cool. Okay, and this is what I call pre-call content. Okay, you want this to be long-form VSL that they need to watch in full about your program, about your strategies that you help them implement in your program, or exactly how the product works. If you have a SaaS, exactly how the SaaS works. It can be you sharing the screen, whatever. You want to have them watch a long form VSL in full before the call time so that they are warmed up more and so that they actually have context, right, onto like what's going to happen on the call. They have understanding. Another thing that you want to do is you want them to watch testimonials / case studies, right? So you're going to have a link That's going to send them to a video with a bunch. The more testimonials and case studies you have, the better, as long as they're relevant to this type of person. Okay? And you're going to tell them, your setters or whoever's doing the discovery call is going to tell them, hey, this is required. We want to make sure that you watch the entire, all of the content in full so that we're both prepared for that call on Wednesday at 3. Is that fair? And they're going to say, yes, I'll watch it. Okay? And then the last thing that you want to do on the discovery call that I kind of added in to make the stakes a little bit higher and make sure they're serious is you want to tell them, hey, last thing, Bob, last thing, Nancy, before we hop off, it's extremely important that you do your due diligence on our company, on our product, on our case studies, whatever, and also do some due diligence on some of our competitors and some of the other options in the market before our call on Thursday. That way, you're fully prepared and you have some ideas of what you're looking for before the call so that if we are a good fit to help you solve your problem, then we can be ready to take action on that call Wednesday at 3. Can you do that? You do some research? Yes? Okay, perfect. What this is going to do is this is going to raise your status delta. Status delta means that they're going to take you more seriously, right? It's like if a cop rolls up to your window, they pulled you over, you take them seriously. They pulled a badge on you, right? This shows them that, hey, we're going to help you as much as we can. We're going to provide you a lot of value, but we're not going to waste time. Okay? We're serious about these calls. And we want to make sure that you're equipped to potentially make a decision on that call, right? So it just frames you. It frames it a little bit like a decision is going to be made on the call to a degree. Okay? Now, that is the discovery process. Okay? Again, what is our intention here? Our intention is to, if the marketing got them 20% across the way, we want the discovery process to get them, a little bit closer, as close as possible, so that when they're on the call, they're here instead of here, right? Because if they're here, that call is going to go much easier. It's going to take less work. If they're here, it's going to take a lot more work. Okay, the date of the call shows up. The closer sends an email and an SMS as a call confirmation morning of, or it can be the setter. You can do it however you want. Okay, if the call's early in the morning, I would do it the night before to confirm the call. Okay, and the closer or the setter, an SMS and an email. Make sure you at least do an SMS because that's going to get more responses. You're going to say, hey, Bob, just wanted to confirm our Zoom call for 3 p.m. today. Is that still a good time for you? Right? And you're going to leave a question so it baits them to give you a response. Okay? You want to get as many confirmations as possible. It's just going to increase your show rate. Now you might be asking, well, we have automations to do this stuff. I don't care. Make it a human touch. Okay? We're selling a high ticket product. Make sure your sales reps add some personal touches. You should have this aside from your automated Calendly or your calendar reminders or whatever, or reminder text messages. Have that stuff. That's cool. Awesome. Have the pre-call content in those automated reminders too, by the way. Okay? But you need to make sure that your sales team does personal touch points because you want to make sure that this person agrees and promises a human being that call is going to happen. Okay? This stuff is going to drastically increase your show rate from, I bet, 40, 50% up to, we want to be at like 70, 75%. That's a KPI we want to hit with this. Okay? All right. Call happens. Ideally, they just show up to the Zoom call, yada, yada. We do our sales call. If they don't show up to the call, okay, is your sales team just going to be like, oh, they didn't show up, whatever, okay? They didn't show up, okay? 2, 3, 4 minutes into the call, your sales rep, the closer, should be sending them a text message, SMS, text, saying, hey, Bob, I'm on the call. Are you having trouble with the Zoom link? Da-da-da. Send them a text. They should call them, okay? Hey, Bob, I'm on the Zoom link. Are you having trouble with the Zoom link? I'm on the Zoom call. Da-da-da-da. Okay? And again, if they don't pick up on the first call, you do not stop there. You call them a second time. You always double dial. Heck, if you guys are willing to do it, triple dial. Okay, you never dial once. You always dial twice. I can't stress this enough. Okay, and this is how there's a lot of times when people will be like, oh, totally, I lost track of time. I'm so sorry, and then they'll hop on the Zoom call, right? Or maybe they'll delay it a half hour if something came up, but they'll still show up a lot of times if you call them and get them to show up anyway. Okay. All right. So the call happens, okay, and they don't close. Okay, the call happens. I see this all the time with my clients. Pay close attention. The call happens. All right, this is the call. Okay, it doesn't close. What happens? Do you just get off the call? No. If there's any level of interest and they are a good fit, you always get them scheduled on the calendar for a follow-up call. Whether it's 2 days from now, tomorrow, or next week, you never get off the call saying, okay, cool, just let me know when a good time is to hop on our follow-up call. And then we'll schedule a follow-up call. Never do that. The follow-up call will maybe happen 5% of the time. Almost never will that follow-up call happen if it's not scheduled on the calendar. Okay, so you're going to actually get them scheduled in for a follow-up call so that you both have a commitment, okay, for that follow-up call. Again, what is the reason for this? It's just you're pushing the deal forward, even if you didn't close the deal, because not everyone's going to close on the first call, right? Because they haven't been sold yet. Maybe they have some objections, whatever. Okay? Remember, the whole point is to push the deal forward. Get them closer to the wall. Okay? You want to get them closer, as close as possible. Okay? As efficiently as possible. You say, Bob, just so, totally understand, we'll definitely do a follow-up call. Just so that I have it on my calendar and you have it on your calendar as well. We both have a commitment for that follow-up call. I always make sure to get a call scheduled on the calendar, even if we might need to change that time, just so that we both remember the call, just so we both have a tentative time on the calendar for that call. Again, it's tentative. If Tuesday at that time rolls around and for whatever reason we need to reschedule that follow-up call, totally cool, but at least we had it on the calendar. Is that fair? You want to say, is that fair? Okay, because that is fair. Okay, they're going to say yes 99% of the time. Okay, that's fine. That makes sense. Okay, if they don't say yes, then they're not sold and they're probably not a customer, to be honest. Okay, because that's totally fair to ask. Okay, 99% of the time they'll be like, oh yeah, we can do that. That makes sense. Okay. And then it's like left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. You never want to just stop walking in the sales process, okay? You always want to have a connection. You always want to be pushing the deal forward, okay? You're not just going to let them on the loose. Now, let's talk about something called value-driven follow-up. One of my friends and mentors, Jeremy Haynes, taught me this thing, and his sales manager, Leo, actually taught me this when I was first getting started. They call it value-driven follow-up, okay? Essentially, all this means is you're following up with value, okay? Especially when you're doing high-ticket sales, this is extremely, extremely important for your sales reps to do and your closers. Like, this is what makes closers elite closers and elite salespeople. Okay, let's say 2 months go by, okay, and someone is still not closing. They still haven't closed, right? They might be here. They haven't been fully sold yet. There's still a little bit more to go. Right? You hit him up and you're like, hey, Bob, it's Nick from XYZ company. The owner of the company just made this awesome new YouTube video about how to do XYZ. When he just shared it with me, I immediately thought of you. I wanted to send it to you to make sure you got your hands on it. Can you let me know what you think? Oh. No one else in sales, for the most part, is doing that. Okay, if you send them that out of nowhere, okay, they're going to be like, oh my God, this person cares about me. They give a shit about me. This is professional as hell. This is not selfish, okay? And they're providing value. They're showing their expertise. They're providing value even though I haven't even given them money yet, okay? So valuable. You can even send articles. Like let's say you're selling advertising services. You can send an article from Google about YouTube ads. You can send an article from TikTok about how to do this specific new thing with TikTok ads. You can send an article from Facebook, from Meta, about this new targeting option on Facebook ads, for example. okay, etc., right? You're providing value. Another way to do this is, let's say that you have a good case study of a new customer that got an amazing result. You film a case study video with them, okay? You want to take that and send the case study content to potential customers who are similar to that case study or who would resonate with that case study, right? So, hey Bob, we just had a new amazing result. Our customer James got this amazing result. He went from here to here. We shot a quick video covering how he did it, all the things. I thought it would be very, very contextual to you and in your current situation and what your goals are. Let me know what you think, ? Send. You can send that via email, you can send it via SMS, text message, okay? That's called value-driven follow-up, okay? Now, one last thing I want to do, there's going to be times when people are in this follow-up stage and they start ghosting you, right? I'm going to draw a little ghost. That's not a ghost. Anyway, I'm not going to try to do a ghost. If people are ghosting you, let's say they booked a call 3 months ago, they're interested, but they haven't said no yet. Like they're financially qualified and they're ghosting you, okay? You're going to send a text message and an email to people that are in the pipeline. They were interested. They were like, they had a timeline issue, or they said they need to think about it. You just haven't been able to close them yet. Okay. You're going to send this text message, and it's called the given up text. All right. And you're essentially going to text, and you can also email it. Your sales reps are going to say, hey, Bob, this is Nick from XYZ company. Have you given up on desired result? ? Send. Right? So for example, if you wanted to grow, if the prospect wanted to grow their real estate business, I'd say, hey Bob, it's Nick from blah 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 company. Have you given up on scaling your real estate business? ? Send. And the reason this works so well, you'll re-engage so many people. The reason this works so well is people have egos. People don't want to be called out for giving up on something, right? And especially if someone hasn't given up on the business, they don't want people to think that they've given up on the business. And this question implies that you assume that they might have given up on the business because they stopped responding to you, right? So people are going to be like, no, just put it on pause for a little bit. Let's talk next week. That's a common response that you'll get, which is good because you're re-engaging them, right? Oh, no, I'm still working on this. Oh, cool. Can we? And then you immediately dial them. Your sales rep would immediately dial them then. You'll get a lot of responses like that. Okay, that's a pro tip. That works so well. I went over a lot. Okay, I just want to reiterate all the things that I just told you are things that get marketing to push the box as far as possible here, and are things that on the sales team you need to be doing to go grab that box and pull it towards the wall to get the $10,000 sale. Okay? I can't stress follow-up enough. If you think that you're going to run paid ads and your sales team's just going to do one call closes back to back to back, sure, some people will close in one day, within a week, on one call. Okay? A lot of people are going to require a follow-up call. A lot of people are going to require follow-up. This is high-ticket sales. Okay? Imagine if you're selling a $100,000 thing. Okay? But you want to treat it the same. Okay? If your sales team's not following up, it doesn't have a consistent follow-up, and if you're not tracking how many existing pipeline deals your closers and your sales reps are following up with per day, you're going to lose a lot of money. You're going to lose a majority of your deals because only, I'd say, 3 to 5% of people are ready to buy right now. Okay? There's going to be a ton more people. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Okay? There's a ton more people, like 95% of people, that are going to buy within 30 to 90 days. Some people, even down here, are going to buy in 180 days, maybe even a year from now, that trickle back in. Okay? And so you need to equip your sales team and make the expectation and the standard of your sales organization follow up, doing all the sales one-on-one things. One way if I'm helping a client recruit a salesperson into the sales team, one thing I look for right away, if we're looking to make, have an elite sales team that actually like does this stuff, to a T, is would this sales rep last a single day in Grant Cardone's office? Yes or no? Right? If they get put in the Grant Cardone sales team, they're going to be cold calling 200 people a day. They're going to be required to follow up, right? I think there's a quote I learned from Grant. It takes, on average, it takes 8 contact attempts to get an internet lead to answer the phone. 8 contact attempts. Most of your sales teams are literally not calling the people right away who book a call. They don't show up to the call, and then maybe you follow up with them once or call them once, and then your sales reps are just back. Okay, now I'm just focused on all the calls on my calendar, right? That's not going to work. That's a weak sales team. That's a weak sales process. It's not good enough. Okay, it's just not good enough. Okay, so if you want to actually make this call funnel thing work well, you have to equip your sales team and hold a high standard for your sales team. You have to get rid of people that are sales reps that are just not doing this stuff, because you're just going to pull the standard of your entire team down. Okay, you need to equip your sales team to go grab that box and pull it. And if your sales team's not willing to do this stuff, then you either need to fire people and raise that standard and actually get this stuff all to be requirements, or this is just not going to work for you. Straight up, it's not going to work for you. Okay? So I hope this is helpful. These are some of the key things I've learned from working with clients that sell $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 things. And these are the keys. These are the keys. If you are still watching right now and you've gotten value from this video, I appreciate you taking the time. This was longer than I thought it was going to be. If you have a team and a product that is a high-ticket product and you're looking to scale it, then I would love to talk to you about potentially helping you get the box across the room more efficiently so that you can turn $1 into $4 or $1 into $10, okay? And actually scale, okay? But we can't scale if your sales team's not doing that stuff, and we can't scale if you're not getting both calls, and we can't scale if this box is only getting pushed halfway across the room and we're not actually collecting cash, right? Because if we're not able to do that with the paid ads, then we're not able to take that cash and reinvest back into scaling your ads, right? To feedback loop. Okay, so this needs to be solved in order to do that. So if that's you, if you have a company that's doing at least $50K a month, $60K a month, $100K a month, and you're looking to scale it further with fixing this and actually implementing this, then somewhere below this video, click the link, book a call with me, and we'll hop on a 20, 30-minute call, diagnose exactly what's causing this problem and what actually needs to be done to actually do this properly and get that box across the room. We'll go over some economics of how that works based on your price point and stuff like that, and some strategies that we can deploy for you. Okay, so book that call if that's you. We'll talk soon. And again, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I hope this was valuable. Talk soon. Bye.